Several clubs this season were unable to reach their targets and meet the expectations of their supporters. Others, on the contrary, showed a stable game and got some decent results. One of the main differences between these two types of clubs is the quality of their summer transfers, which were supposed to strengthen the team in the pre-season. If newcomers were unable to perform at some clubs, at others they played an important role helping them to succeed. Today, we're going to tell you about the most successful transfers of both summer and winter transfer windows. Goal24 presents you the top 10 transfers of the 21-22 season. But before we start, take part in our small quiz. Which of these forwards scored the most goals in his debut season in the national competition? Edin Dzeko, Romelu Lukaku, Olivier Giroud, Dusan Vlahovic. Have you already answered? Then let's get started. Takehiro Tomiyasu, Bologna, Arsenal, €18,600,000. Before this Japanese arrived at the club, the Gunners were in the relegation zone, having lost 3 matches with 0-9 goal difference. And Tomiyasu's game became one of the reasons why this team managed to become a Champions League spot contender out of an outsider. The player had drawn Mikel Arteta's attention with his versatility playing for Bologna in Serie A. There, he was covering 3 positions at once. Takehiro could play in the center or the right wing of the defense, as well as a defensive midfielder. But besides his versatility, the player brought confidence to the team thanks to his bravery and the ability to predict opponents' moves. Only a month after his move, Tomiyasu won the Player of the Month award for September, as his reliable game in the defense helped Arsenal concede only 1 goal in 4 matches. Takehiro's versatility helped Arteta build a liquid formation in which the player switched his position in the defense depending on the situation. The fact that before the ill-fated match against Newcastle, the Japanese had been outplayed one-on-one only 7 times shows his level of defending. In the match against the Magpies, the Japanese was playing through injury and was subbed off in the 39th minute as he had been dribbled by 4 times by that moment. Unfortunately, the defender was unable to help the Gunners to qualify for the Champions League for the first time since the 2015-16 season. However, had Tomiyasu played in the 6 lost matches, maybe Arteta's team would have ended their bad run and played in the Champions League this season. Well, we'll never know that. Arnaud Danjuma, Bournemouth, Villarreal, €23,500,000. In the Netherlands, Danjuma was a promising player, but he faced difficulties after moving to the Premier League. When Bournemouth got relegated, the midfielder became a first-11 player, finishing the season with 17 goals and 7 assists in the Championship. And his efforts were not in vain, as last summer Villarreal's head coach Unai Emery invited Danjuma to the Yellow Submarine, giving him a very important role. Right after his move, Arnaud became a first-11 player, scoring 2 goals in his first 3 matches. Thanks to his technique, he quickly became a fan's favorite. Danjuma's importance was notable in the decisive match against Atalanta in the group stage of the Champions League. The midfielder scored 2 goals in Bergamo, helping Villarreal qualify for the knockout stage for the first time since 2009. But that's not all. The Dutchman kept playing outstandingly in the competition, scoring against Juventus in the round of 16 and against Bayern in the quarterfinal. Thus, Arnaud had a huge contribution to the team's success as they reached the Champions League semi-final for the 2nd time in their history, to lose against Liverpool. Overall, Danjuma has scored 16 goals and made 5 assists in all competitions this season. Hardly anyone at Villarreal would expect such a result, buying a player from the Championship. His transfer value on the transfer market has increased to €50 million, an unbelievable progress. Ibrahima Konate, RB Leipzig, Liverpool, €40 million. Last season, the young Frenchman proved himself as one of the most promising defenders in the Bundesliga. Many clubs were interested to sign him, but the quickest of all were Liverpool. They signed him even before the start of the summer window. At the club, the player faced quite a difficult adaptation process. During the first 5 matches, Konate was sitting on the bench and didn't play any minute for the Reds. But then Jurgen Klopp chose a good time to let the newcomer debut against Crystal Palace. In that match, Ibrahima helped the club win 3-0. In his first 7 matches, Liverpool conceded only 3 goals, thanks to which the player was trusted with a place in the starting lineup more often. In February, the 22-year-old Konate was to play in the League Cup final against Chelsea. After a goalless draw, the teams had to face a penalty shootout in which the Frenchman scored one of the goals, helping the Reds win their first trophy this season. But aside from his defensive duties, Ibrahima showed his attacking skills, scoring in 3 matches in a row in the beginning of April. 2 of these goals were scored against Benfica in the Champions League quarter-final. In May, Liverpool was to play another cup final against Chelsea, and the game was almost identical to the first one. The Frenchman started this match too, but he didn't score in the shootout as the Reds won the trophy in the extra time. By the way, Konate is kind of a lucky charm for Liverpool, as they never lost in 28 matches with him. Ibrahima's achievements allow us to conclude that next season Klopp will make him a firm first 11 player. Bruno Guimaraes, Lyon, Newcastle, 42,100,000 euros. During the whole winter transfer window, the Brazilian midfielder was the main target for Arsenal, but eventually the Gunners were too greedy to pay the required amount. But Newcastle, who were fighting against relegation with the assistance of their new owners from Saudi Arabia, acted more confidently and brought the player to the Premier League. Having a new player in the squad, Eddie Howe, the manager, was patient with playing the South American in the first 11 so that he could adapt to the new tournament and country. On March 10, Guimaraes started in the lineup for the first time in the away match against Southampton and scored a winner in the 52nd minute. The midfielder proved he is ready to play in England with his confident performance. After that, Bruno played in the 9 out of 10 next matches. Eventually, the player ended the competition with 5 goals and 1 assist under his belt. And the Arsenal match became the cherry on the top for Guimaraes. The Brazilian scored the second goal in the second half, sending the Gunners to the 5th place in the table. Who knows how it would end for Arsenal had they paid the required amount to Lyon and brought Bruno to London. Now the Magpies fans are the ones enjoying the Brazilian's game. Here's what the club legend and top scorer Alan Shearer says about Bruno. He'll be playing even better, his skills will draw the best players. When potential newcomers see that Guimaraes and Trippier come to Newcastle, they will think that it is worth moving here. Hakan Çalhanoğlu, AC Milan, Inter, free agent. At the end of the last season, the Turkish player had a choice to make, either to extend his contract with Rossoneri or move as a free agent to their fierce rivals, as they offered him €5,000 more per year. The midfielder opted for the money, becoming one of the most hated people for the AC Milan fans. However, Hakan became a more important player for Inter than he had been in Stefano Pioli's team. In his debut match for Nerazzurri against Genoa, Çalhanoğlu scored a goal and made an assist. But it took him 12 matches to score again. Ironically, he ended his goal drought in the derby match against his former club. First, he scored from the penalty spot, and then he celebrated the goal with a provoking gesture, infuriating the Milan fans. Whatever the case, the debut season of the player at Inter can be called successful. He's had 7 goals and 13 assists under his belt in Serie A. He has never had more than 20 goals and assists in a single season, so this result can be considered the best in the Turkish player's career. He also helped his club win the Coppa d'Italia, but they lost the battle for Scudetto to Hakan's former club, AC Milan. In general, Hakan's move was beneficial for all sides. Many thought that Stefano Pioli's team would decline because of the departure of one of their key players, but it turned out otherwise. Inter grabbed a good player, Çalhanoğlu performed decently and won a trophy, and AC Milan got over the loss and became champions. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, Arsenal, Barcelona, free agent. After he fell out with Arteta and lost the captain's armband, the Gunners decided to transfer list the Gabonese as his stay at the club made no more sense. At the end of the winter transfer window, Barcelona was trying to force the move of Alvaro Morata, but when the deal failed, they had to search for an alternative. Aubameyang's candidacy was just in time. As he moved to Camp Nou, it took the player 4 matches to score his first goals for the club. In the away match against Valencia, the Gabonese scored 2 goals and made 1 assist. These made the supporters remember that only a couple of seasons ago he was steadily scoring 20 goals and more in the Premier League every year. Aubameyang did perform greatly. He scored 13 goals this season in all competitions, including 2 goals against Real Madrid at Santiago Bernabeu and 1 goal against Napoli. Thus, having joined Barcelona in the mid-season, the forward became the club's top scorer in all competitions. It's a matter of question how long Aubameyang will stay at Camp Nou, but no doubt, without him, the Blaugranas would hardly finish second in La Liga. David Alaba, Bayern, Real Madrid, free agent. At the end of the last season, the Austrian gave an ultimatum to Bayern. Either the club would fulfill his salary demands or he would find a new club. Bayern decided against satisfying the player and allowing him to move to Real Madrid as a free agent. In the Spanish capital, Alaba became the 3rd highest player at the club behind Hazard and Bale. His wage is 22 million euros. At Real Madrid, David was supposed to replace 2 former central defenders, Rafael Varane and Sergio Ramos. These duo had helped Los Blancos win 4 Champions League titles. Eder Militao was David's partner in the defense throughout the whole season. Although he had some decent games, mostly the Brazilian was not that reliable. But under Carlo Ancelotti, it all changed. 29-year-old Alaba was showing impressive game in the defense, helping Los Blancos finish the season with 15 clean sheets. The Austrian scored his first goal in autumn against Barcelona. That El Clasico ended in Real Madrid's favor 2-1. Thanks to David's contribution, Real Madrid won their 35th La Liga title and made an unbelievable path in the Champions League. Tammy Abraham, Chelsea, Roma, 40 million euros. Last summer, the young Englishman had to leave Stamford Bridge because the head coach, Thomas Tuchel, didn't see him as a part of his project. The player could have moved to the Blues' fierce rivals Arsenal, but after receiving a call from Jose Mourinho, he changed his mind. Do you want to move to sunny Rome or you want to stay in rainy England? This question by the Portuguese made the deal. Abraham accepted the challenge of discovering a new culture and agreed to move to Rome. In his 3rd match at his new club, Tammy scored a goal against Salernitana, but he reached his prime by winter. In the first half of the season, the forward scored 11 goals in all competitions, 5 of which he scored at the end of November and in December. Now Abraham has 17 goals in Serie A, 6 of which were scored against teams like Atalanta, Juventus, Milan and Lazio. 2 goals scored in the Derby della Capitale made the press happy as they immediately wrote about the player moving back to his home country. Actually, Tammy scored 27 goals in all tournaments this season. Only 3 Roma players were able to score more in their debut seasons. Abraham scored 9 goals in the Conference League. Obviously, Mourinho was right in convincing the board paid 40 million euros for the forward, who became the top scorer among all English players in the top 5 leagues. Mike Maignan, Lille, AC Milan, 13,400,000 euros. After Gianluigi Donnarumma left San Siro as a free agent with a huge scandal, Rossoneri had to find a new keeper. They opted for the 26-year-old Maignan, who helped Lille win the Ligue 1 title in the 2021 season. Besides, he had been in the center of attention of some top clubs for a while. The Frenchman fit Stefano Pioli's plans like a glove and won the Serie A Best Goalkeeper award. Today, Mike is one of the reasons for AC Milan's success in Serie A. This season, the keeper had 17 clean sheets out of 32 matches. It's the best result in the competition. Besides, the player missed around 2 months because of an injury. In total, Rossoneri conceded 31 goals in Serie A. 10 of them were conceded when Maignan was off the pitch. While Donnarumma was suffering in Paris and regretting his departure, the Frenchman made the AC Milan fans forget about their former keeper and showed a quality game. Many players contributed for the title, but hardly it would have been possible without the goalkeeper's confident game. Luis Diaz, Porto, Liverpool, 45 million euros. The Colombian winger's performance in Portugal impressed the Reds head coach Jurgen Klopp, who knew beforehand that the player would fit his system perfectly. Diaz had all the attributes necessary to play at Liverpool: acceleration, aggression, creativity, and hard working. As soon as the midfielder arrived at Anfield, the supporters immediately noticed his talent. Diaz needed almost no time to adapt. The South American fit perfectly in the new tournament and created even more competition in the Reds' attack among Salah, Mané, Jota, Firmino. Many thought that Luis would need time to adapt to the new system and would become a first-11 player only next season. However, by February, Diaz had already been starting games. Thanks to his high pace and brand cuts from the wing to the center, the Colombian added more fire to the already energetic attack of Liverpool. In all the most important matches, Jurgen Klopp trusted Diaz more than Diogo Jota. Luis scored 6 goals and made 5 assists in all the competitions this season. One of such matches was the home game against Tottenham, when the Reds were losing, but equalized thanks to Luis's goal and stayed in the title race. Without this transfer, Liverpool would have hardly fought for all the 4 trophies until the last minute. Even the former Man United defender Rio Ferdinand agrees with that. Diaz is a breath of fresh air. Without him, Liverpool wouldn't be a contender in all 4 tournaments. That is why I consider him the best transfer of this season. It turns out completing a right transfer is not that easy. For example, Cristiano Ronaldo's move to Manchester United appeared to be quite dubious. On the one hand, the Portuguese was leading the team, having scored 18 goals in the Premier League and 6 goals in the Champions League. But after his move, the Red Devils started playing quite badly, and many pundits were blaming his lazy job in pressing the opposition defense. At the same time, the United never won a game without Ronaldo in the squad this year. No Krish, no victory. Simple as that. What do you think? Is Ronaldo's transfer a failure or success? Let us know your opinion in the comments. Also, you could mention which transfer you consider the best in the 21-22 season. We'll be happy to read all your versions. See you soon.